Snap out.
What a hot overall made you feel.
3, 2, 1, woo! All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the American Movie Podcast. This is your host, Matthew Benjamin. Today, we're going over one of the weirdest series that I've seen on Netflix so far, Wormwood. And this is based upon Eric Olson. And Eric Olson is this old man. His father was killed, and it's presumably state-sanctioned murder, okay? So hear me out. This is a 6-part series, and it's interwoven with dramatic renditions starring Peter Sarsgaard, and then actual footage of all of the aftermath of his father's death. And what's very fascinating about it is he was killed or died. We'll say died right now in 1953, and then they say it was an accidental death. He fell, or it was a suicide. And then 1974 rolls around, and the government actually called in the family 20 or 19 years later, calls in the family of Frank Olson, who is the deceased, and Gerald Ford, the president, I think it's Gerald, I don't remember, President Ford, apologized. That's never happened before. A president of the United States has not formally apologized to an individual citizen ever. So they screwed up immensely. So that's what's very eye-catching about it, is that if that's never happened before, and they also paid out in damages. So they paid these people, they settled out of court and everything like that. So it was very, very fishy. And what I think is very, very troublesome about it is that you get to see Eric Olson. You get to see him, and he is a Harvard graduate of psychology, and he's a very articulate guy. He doesn't seem prone to conspiracy thinking or obsessive compulsive disorder, but this envelops his life for 60 years. So he goes in through all of the data, everything that's available and everything, and just tries to systematically and objectively look at what actually happened. And Eric seems very objective with this, and like I said, he's very articulate, well-spoken, and he has nothing vested in this besides figuring out the truth. Either way, he's lost his father forever at a very young age, and it's either he was very troubled and killed himself, or it was an accidental death, or someone murdered him. So it's very bitter, and that is the terminology of Wormwood. And they get into that within the series itself. So the series itself was well crafted. It was beautiful. Everything looked very, very sleek, and everything was systematically put in, and it was interwoven. And I thought it was very, very neat to see that intertwined together. So you get Peter Sarsgaard, who does an excellent job, very like gentle demeanor, very, very just seems like a calm person, and he's very troubled by the stuff he has to do for the CIA. He's very, very, very smart, and that bled over into Eric's intelligence as well. So he's very, very smart. Okay, he's a scientist, and he's working for the CIA, and all along the way, he was very troubled through what they were doing in Korea, and he made this known. And that is presumably, allegedly, this is not factual, but they make a good case that that was the reason that they systematically or state-sanctioned murdered him. So what I like to know is, I would like to see the rebuttal on the FBI side, because they make a compelling argument throughout this entire 6-part series. And this is very, very long. I feel like they could have done it maybe in 4 episodes. They do 6. And they're about a little bit shorter than an hour each one. So they could probably could have done it in 4. Some of it seemed a little bit repetitive, but it was very, very fascinating. If you liked Mindhunter, you'd really like this show, because there's it's truth-based as well, and it's similar. It's kind of the inside of the FBI and that stuff. And it was all along the Watergate scandal and all of these leaks of just state troubles that were being leaked out, and horrible tasks that they've done and stuff like that. So it's very, very fascinating to see this. It was very, very interesting, and I was compelled I watched a lot of it back to back to back to back. It was a very compelling thing, but I just remember it being a little bit long. But it was still absolutely really, really, really good, and just very, very eye-opening and a little bit scary to see that they would go at this length if it's true, and they make a very, very compelling argument, and they redacted in 1953, and then in 1994 they redacted again. So once they dig up the body as well, so I don't want to go into it too much, but they find a lot of compelling evidence that the statements that they've said were not factual in regards to the evidence at hand. So it was very, very fascinating, man. So I highly recommend this. If you like mysteries and kind of like who done it, and just kind of watching the evidence unfold, and you get to see Eric's just battle with this, because it's enveloped his life for 60 years. He's an old man now. And when he's on television, he's young. He's going through graduate school. He's trying to making amends and trying to figure out and kind of come to terms with his battle of losing his father at such a young age. And it was just, it seemed wrongful that he was kept in the dark, and his family was just stricken by his father's death. And it was really, really fascinating to see this, man. So I highly, highly recommend it. Let me know if you've seen this, or if you want to see it down in the comment section below if you have any questions about it. And if you have any insight on it too, do you think it's true? Do you think it's not true? Let me know. And I'm going to play the trailer here just for a little bit and just kind of give you a taste of it. If you're watching on the live stream or listening, you can kind of hear it a little bit. So I'll turn this bad boy up and play this real quick. But yeah, let me know what you thought about this. Because, hold on, let me play this through because, dude, it was pretty compelling and pretty scary, and all the stuff that unfolded in it. So let's see. Hope you can hear this on the...
What were you told at the time of your father's death?
I was told that your father has had an accident. But that was the cover story told by the CIA.
Dun, dun, dun.
My father, Frank Olson, was an Army scientist. His research group had a relationship with the CIA. They take him to New York Tuesday morning, early Saturday morning, he's dead. What was my father doing? What was the CIA doing? What happened there?
The released CIA documents deal with a project codenamed MK Ultra.
There was in it a story of a CIA experiment on an unwitting civilian who was given LSD.
You're the one on stage tonight, Dr. Olson.
You're all a bunch of junkers. This has been the shift from thinking that my father's death was a mysterious suicide to knowing that it was a CIA atrocity.
This is 1975. There were a lot of questions about the integrity of U.S. government.
The government was so eager to shut this down.
The tragedy that happened to the family was very deep and very real.
Eric's whole life has been sucked into this terrible hole.
The CIA was using LSD on people, but I think the real bad was something worse. He's a man that was profoundly distressed about what he was learning.
Startling new information.
Frank Olson, a former CIA scientist, may have been murdered.
God,
if you thought somebody was detrimental, you would have no problem dealing with it.
But then the question is, who ordered that?
The United States began to do things which put its own democratic institutions in great jeopardy. And my father was in the center of that.
Frank was somebody who has secrets, and he was dangerous. I can't tell you more.
Wow. Dude, yeah, so it's crazy. And that trailer doesn't do it justice. There's more information in there, and it's just very, very, very... It brings skepticism to just reporting. So it's just like, whoa, man, what's going on? So... thank you so much for watching. This has been Matthew Benjamin with the American Movie Podcast. Let me know if you're going to watch this. Don't forget to subscribe. And until next time, thank you so much for watching. Bye, bye, bye. Bye, 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 bye. Ciao, ciao, ciao.
I've been frozen for 30 years, okay? Throw me a frickin' bone here.
Snap out. What a hot old world made you feel your pants?